Hello, everyone. Welcome to my Friday Facebook Live. I'm Sarah Chatello from Sassy Paper Crafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today we're going to be making a card using the Butterfly Brilliance bundle. It comes with this stamp set here and these dies, which I will be showing you in a minute. First, I just want to talk to you a little bit about my March ordering specials. So if you use this host code here when placing an order in my online store, a $50 order will get you a 4-card tutorial for the Butterfly Brilliance bundle, what we'll be using today. And a $100 order will get you the tutorial plus a roll of the fine art ribbon, which is this. I'll try to get it. I don't know if you can see, my camera's not focusing. There's gold in it. And you'll get a whole roll of that. For a $150 order, you don't want to use the host code because then you become your own hostess and you will get the tutorial plus the ribbon and Stampin' Rewards. So let me just pull up my comments here. Sorry, this is taking me a second. And we will get started on this card. Let me show you the card. That's the card we're going to be making today. And we're going to be doing a little bit of blending with blender pens. So let's see if I can get to my comments. Sorry, guys. It's taking me a second. And you want to stay tuned to the end of this video because I will be also doing a giveaway. So for the giveaway, I'm going to be picking from the comments left here. So if you're watching right now, just pop in and say hello, and that will enter you into the giveaway. And I'll be showing you at the end of this video what I am giving away. And so I can't find my comments. So I'll answer any questions or anything you have after this video. So let's get started making our card. I'm going to show you the stamp set. It is one big stamp. And then the dies that go with it. And these dies cut out details. This we'll be using on our card today. Cut it from that butterfly there. And then these dies, this one cuts out the big stamp. And then we have these little splatters, a basket weave, brick pattern, and a couple of smaller butterflies there. So for this card, I use this die and a couple of the detailed dies here. So let's get started on making our card. I'm going to leave my stamp out. We're going to be using that. So first you're going to need a card base, and I cut this. This is 8.5 by 5.5. No, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and you're just going to fold that in half. And I like to use a bone folder to burnish the edges. Set that aside. And then you're going to need a scrap piece of basic white so we can do our stamping. And for these big stamps, you're also going to need a big block, and this is an F block. I like to lay it down. And we're not going to be using all of these butterflies, but I like to ink the whole thing up. That way I can use what I want, and I'll have leftovers I can use on other projects. I'm just going to ink that up with some gorgeous grape. And then flip it over. And I like to stand up to do this. Position it on your paper. You just want to push. Sorry if the camera is shaking. And that's your butterflies. Let me just show you those dies again. Where do they put them? To show you how they line up with the stamps. Then you'll take this big die and it lines up And then you just run that through your die cutting machine. And when it cuts out, you get a butterfly that looks like this. So I'm using this one and this one for today's card. And so you'll have 4 left over to use on other projects. And I'm going to show you how I colored these. So I'm using Highland Heather, Highland Heather Stamping Blends. I like to start with the light. It's a lot easier to make things darker than it is, or lighter. It's a lot easier to make things darker than it is to make them lighter. So I like to go in with the lightest color first. And I'm just going to outline the butterfly. And then I'll show you how I do shading and all of that. And I generally tend to do this before I die cut it, just in case I make a mistake, then I can use a different one. But for the sake of time, I pre-die cut these. And this bundle is available, will be available in the new annual catalog. To get the annual catalog, if you've purchased from me within the past 12 months, I will be sending you one. You're already on my list. If you have it and would like to receive one, there will be a link in the description here to request one from me, and I will mail them out. They are expected to ship from Stampin' Up! On April 8th. So you should get it before it goes live on May 3rd. And the paper that goes in this collection is not going to be carrying over. So that's going to go away. I believe it's also May 3rd. So if you want the paper that goes with this collection, I'd get it now. So I'm just taking the dark Highland Heather and I'm going over the spots that are already shaded just to give them a little more depth. And it really doesn't matter how you color, if you stay in the lines or not. I find the blends tend to be a little bit forgiving. So if you mess up or you do shade something you didn't want to shade, it's fine. Nobody knows what it's supposed to look like but you. Go over those. And then what I like to do is go back in with the light, but only in certain spots and just to blend the colors. So I'm not going to go over in the middle part there because I want that to be lighter. That gives it more the shading look that I'm going for. I went outside the lines a little bit, but that's okay. All right. So once this dries, it actually looks a lot better. So hopefully it'll be dry by the time we're done here. So now we can assemble our card. So I have my base here. And then I used the brick and mortar, I don't know how you say it, but I used brick and mortar embossing folder to emboss these panels. And these are cut at 2.5 by 1 1/4. And let me show you that embossing folder really quick so you can see what I'm talking about. Maybe one of you know how to say the name of it because I sure don't. Oh, it was right here. There it is. So this is the embossing folder. Mortar, I don't know. But I turned it sideways and I laid my strips in and then I ran it through my die cut emboss machine and you get these. So then what I did was took some Stampin' Seal. Ran it over. And I like to place the middle one first. Oh, wait. I had a piece of Highland Heather here. We're not putting that right in the card base. I have a piece of Highland Heather that is 5 1/4 by 4. And like I said, you place the middle one first because that way I can see whereabouts center of the card is. And then I can get them kind of evenly spaced. It's not going to be perfect. I mean, it's a handmade card though, so anybody that receives this card, I'm sure will love it. And see, this one should have went in the middle a little more. It's fine though. So then I took a piece of the 3/8 inch sheer ribbon that's also in Gorgeous Grape. And we're going to do my little tape trick where I take 2 pieces of Scotch tape. One here. Put it about center. Wrap it around. And there's that. And then my die cuts. So for this card, I used the largest butterfly and the smallest die cut. I had extras, so these are the ones we're using for today's card. I want to put this one up there, that there, I think. And then our sentiment, which I got from the Here's a Card stamp set. I'm going to use hello there. And I die cut that with the Stitch Shapes label, or Stitch Shapes dies. And I use the very smallest oval to die cut it. And it makes this really nice stitch pattern around it. So then all we're going to need for this is glue dots and a couple of dimensionals. So we'll put this one on first. And I like to kind of bend the butterfly slightly, not too much. You don't want to fold it in half. And I put dimensionals just on one side. That makes it gives it like a floating look, almost like it's actually flying. You don't want to place it too high because it still has to go on your card base. And then a couple of dimensionals here. Bend it a little. And then for this, because you can see right through it, I'm going to use a glue dot. Stick it to the back there. Put it right straight on, I think. And then a couple of dimensionals on the back of our sentiment. And stick that there. And we're not done yet. I'm going to use the pastel pearls. There's a Gorgeous Grape pearl here. We're going to use 3 of those. I'll get my paper piercer. And we're going to put one in the center of each butterfly. And then all that's left to do now is put our layer onto our card base. And that might be over a little bit, but it's okay. And when I say over, I just mean you don't want to put something sticking too far off the edge of your card, especially if you're sending it. If you're just handing it to somebody, it's fine. So this one will probably get handed away instead of put in an envelope because I think it might be a little too far off. Yeah, see, if I went to go put that in an envelope, that would fold or bend. So this one will just get handed to somebody. And then for this, I just put a regular inside that's 5 1/4 by 4. So it's like that. So that you have something to write on. You probably could write on the Gorgeous Grape, but it might not show out too well if you're using just a regular pen. So I always like to put a white piece on the inside just to write on. And our card is finished. Oops, see, I bent the butterfly. That's what would happen if you put it in an envelope. This one's okay though. See, it pokes out a little bit there, but You stick it in an envelope, it'll be fine. So there's our cards for today. And now let me tell you about the giveaway I'm doing. So if you leave a comment on this video, you will be entered in a drawing to win the Corner Bouquet stamp set. This was a celebration stamp set. It is no longer available. This one is brand new. And yeah, all you have to do is comment on this video. I will be picking a winner next Friday on my live video at 3 o'clock. So tune in then to see if you won. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next week.